They've changed my life for good. But these are, first of all, in terms of networking, the book I highly recommend is Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. You read this book and it starts telling you the little things that you need to do to connect with people, like remembering people's names, or remembering their birthdays, or making people feel important. I read this book and I was extremely blown away. It's been a bestseller 70 years now. It hasn't changed much. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The other one is Richard Carlson, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. It has a lot of tips. It's got like a bite-sized meal. It just has a lot of tips about what you can do in life. Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, Richard Carlson. I would say my book, but put it there. The other one is Sherry Carter Scott, If Life is a Game, These Are the Rules. I would say if you're starting off, if you've never read any of the books, I would start off with this, because this just gives you an understanding of who you are as a person. It tells you to accept your flaws. It tells you to accept what you can do, and it pushes you to become a better person. So If Life is a Game, These Are the Rules. The other book is by the best author in the world, in my opinion, is Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers. It talks about the story of success. Because a lot of people think that success is your inborn talent, or I just woke up and all of a sudden I was successful. But what he teaches you is that success is not just about you. It's about who you surround yourselves with. It's about circumstances. In this book, he gives an example of an ice hockey team. He was going through the roster, and he noticed that everybody on the ice hockey team was born between January and March. Majority of people. And he said, well, why is it that majority of people are born between January and March and they make it into the ice hockey national team? And then he realized that a lot of the people that are born in January and March, they start off school older than other people, bigger than other people. So you can have somebody that is the same age as you, but he was born January 1981, October, and then I'm born October 1981. He's a whole 7 or 8 months older than you. So in physical sports, he's always performing better than you, and then he's always being put ahead of you, being pushed, put ahead of you, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, you're not good at sports, or you're not smart enough. But they don't realize that the reason it is because he's 7 months older than you. And when you're young, those things magnify. It's not as big when you're an older person. So something like that, literally he opened it and there was nobody that was born in December or born in November that was on the hockey team. Everybody was January and March. But you go out there and you hear people saying, oh, my son is too skinny, or my son can't play sports, but they don't realize what causes it. So this is an amazing book. I call it amazing. The last two, I call it my reality checks, is Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. My mom called me up and she was like, buy this book, and I brushed her off. But I started reading it, and I started realizing that a lot of us are working to spend our lives in a rat race, 9 to 5. We don't have the philosophy of saving money. We don't have the philosophy of breaking out. And I was one of those people until I read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Amazing book. It talks about money. It talks about finances. It talks about investment, real estate investments. The last one is just a simple book. It was written by Thomas Stanley. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. All he did was study millionaires. What do millionaires do? What do they wear? What cars do they drive? What credit cards do they use? And he realized that, I'll give you one example. A lot of us think that millionaires drive BMWs, Mercedes-Benz, Lexuses, and stuff like that. But the truth is that a lot of rich people, they don't buy those expensive cars. The people that buy expensive cars are the poor people or the middle class people, because we're trying to impress other people. But meanwhile, the rich people, the real rich people, that they're not trying to show it outside. They're rich because of their bank account. They drive Ford Tauruses, they drive Toyota Camry, like cheap, dependable cars. They don't buy luxury cars. So it's just those little things. And then people like us, I mean, when I was young, I was like, oh, I want to drive a BMW because it would show that I'm rich and everything. So that book was, it was amazing. And he says something like, people buy stuff they don't need with money they don't have, to impress people they don't like. So to me, I was like, I had to change the philosophy and forget about impressing people. I just spend what I can afford. Forget about the Benz, BMW. Just buy a car that can take you from A to Z, and spend money that you have. Don't borrow money if you can't afford it. So those are the books that have changed my life.
We're talking about millionaires and cars. My firm is going to be doing some work for that.